Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick-and-mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello, everyone. I am coming to you live, not only on Instagram Live, but my podcast. It'll be on YouTube because we have an exciting announcement. And this exciting announcement has come as a result of a headwind, a challenge. And I want to come to you with not only good news, but some learning lessons and some tips and some tricks and tools if this happens to you. So some of you know that last Friday, I was disabled from Instagram. Pause for dramatic effect. I know, crazy, right? We were out in downtown Oakville. We were having this beautiful celebration dinner and growth meeting with one of our trainers celebrating 1 year at Benchmark. And it was a very high vibe meeting, talking about her year at Benchmark, what she wants to do in the future with Benchmark. And when we were done the meeting, everyone's going home for the night. Matt and I are in the car driving home. And I wanted to post a photo from our yummy dinner, but also celebrating her. And when I went to open Instagram, voila, I was disabled. I have never seen that before, you guys. And in the moment, wasn't very happy about it. But it was late. It was probably like 11:30, way past all of our bedtimes. And so I was like, okay, this is like a tomorrow problem. And I did some research, trying to quote unquote speak to someone at Instagram. How cute of me, how naive, because that is not possible. And I tried ChatGPT, Google, I tried all the sources to just try to understand why. It said something about community guidelines. And so I don't know if you were hearing that and you were like me, my head starts spinning, thinking like, oh my gosh, who would do this to me? Or what did I post? What did I post that's so offensive? My dogs, my workouts, food, community-focused events. Unfortunately, I don't have any answers, but I sat with that for a bit. And Matt and I've already shared this on another episode I recorded earlier in the week. We had a challenging week last week and it dribbled into this week, and you have that as an entrepreneur. You have seasons where you question what you're doing, why you're doing it, what your growth plan is. It's very, I think it's very, very normal. And so we had this, and amongst this, I'm disabled from an account that I use frequently in terms of supporting my brand and message, my personal brand, the Benchmark Fitness brand, all of my events. So I felt like I was really in the dark in terms of this massive social platform that millions of people around the world, actually probably billions, uses. And I wanted to sit with that, and I wanted to find some lessons, because I am a big proponent of that when hard things happen to you, it typically comes with a lesson or maybe a few lessons. And I remember a couple of years ago, and maybe you guys remember this too, where Instagram went down and people freaked out. You have a ton of creators out there that their revenue that they bring in every year is directly tied to their Instagram account. And so this, yes, is something I can relate to. Thankfully, we have multiple streams of income. So it's not like, Benchmark Fitness shut down and the Benchmark account was still up, although a lot of our content was missing because it was collaborated with my page. So there's a few things, and really trying to sit with like, okay, what's the plan of attack here? Should I start a new account? How long is it going to take me to get close to 10,000 followers where I was? And really wanted to sit in the growth moment that came from this. And what I was saying about when Instagram crashed a couple of years ago, a lot of people freaked out, but there were a lot of amazing lessons about being omnipresent in a variety of channels, but not only that, channels that you own. Your website, your blog, your podcast, your email list. So that's immediately where I went to. I gave myself a few days to quote unquote grieve, a challenging week, plus the Instagram. That was like a little cherry on top at the end of the week. And I tried to sit with like, okay, Ellie, you literally are a mindset coach. You need to work on yourself and get yourself out of this little funk that you're in and find a solution. Matt and I both are very solution-oriented individuals, and I wanted to find a solution. So not only did I start recording more podcasts, I wanted to share that, Matt and I had a shitty week and this is what I've been doing, but also dial in more in my communication to my email list. It actually has been something I've been working on more over the last few months, but I wanted to focus on it even more and connect with my community that way, whether it's with blog posts or events or just fun tips and tricks and podcast episodes. So really leaning into that. And once I was past the reality check, and also realizing like this can't go on for forever. And there probably is a world where I might have to pay someone. And sure enough, a good friend of mine came to me and was able to share a referral that was able to get my account back. This is why I'm here. So if you're watching this on Instagram Live, yay, 7 days later, here I am. I am back on Instagram. But it was amazing to not only, I'm thankful for this girlfriend of mine, but that I have a network that Matt and I have really been working hard at building. And I was able to ask a good handful of people for help. And this is where I want to kind of go in and transitioning in terms of the lessons here and where the pivot, not only from a mindset, but the action components came. That I have an event on Sunday, and it's a collaborative event with a local boutique in my community that I have been so high vibe and confident about. Like, I'm going to bring so many amazing women to this event. And Instagram is a massive channel of how I can connect with these amazing women to bring them to a community event. And then I immediately felt like, man, I have dropped my end of the bargain. Like, why would somebody want to work with me? And there was a lot of mindset stuff that came with this, and the self-doubt and the questioning. And that's, we could totally go down that rabbit hole, but I really want this to be a actionable lesson focused episode and Instagram Live for you guys watching or YouTube. But being able to dive into owning your platform. This is lesson number 1. So this is where I focused on hanging out with my microphone and recording some podcast episodes, having, quality takeaways and notes in the notes of the episode, like the show notes, and then also my email list and my blog. So working on those other platforms that I quote unquote own. Number 2, leaning into my community. And I had asked some of my dear friends, I had asked my amazing trainers on our amazing team at Benchmark for help and support that I have an event on Sunday. Could you please help me share it? Here are some assets. You can have this one, you can have this one, whatever feels more aligned for you to share. This is the link where everyone can get the tickets, because I want this to be an amazing experience, not only for all the women that come, but for the partner that I am working with, because that is important to me. I am really passionate about working with great partners that feel aligned, and I want to over deliver on what that experience is like. So being able to lean into my community. And another sort of like 2A on this lesson is getting into rooms that expand you. It is no coincidence that last night, Matt and I had our Elite Mastermind monthly call. And as a refresher, for those of you that don't know, Matt and I have invested some Bitcoin this year in the Elite Mastermind, which has actually been on my vision board for 4 years. And it has been hosted by Chris Harder for the last 8 years. And this year, Lori has joined. So this year, we are so lucky we get both Chris and Lori hosting this amazing, expansive mastermind. And you guys, the people that are in this room are all over Canada, US, and they are just golden nuggets of humans. And Matt and I were on this call for 2 hours last night. It was a good chunk of time. And I just felt so seen by some of the questions that my peers were asking. And these are people that are bringing in 6, 7, 8 figures year over year. So they are very much that high performer mentality. And just some of the questions that they were asking with all of us, and some of us sharing like, man, I had a shitty week, and questioning this and this, that it's very normal. Is it fun? No. But entrepreneurship, it's a ride, man. And it has those fun parts of a ride. It has, maybe if you're thinking about this as like a ride at a fairground, you can tell I've not been to one in a really long time. Like, who says the word fairground? But if it's like a big, scary roller coaster, there are parts of that are not pleasant, and you might feel sick. And that is just like entrepreneurship. There are literally books called The Entrepreneurship Roller Coaster, and it is a very accurate title. But I feel so grateful that over the last couple of years, Matt and I have made a intentional choice together to spend our time and hard-earned money on rooms that expand and stretch us, because the quality of people that have come into our life because of it has just been unmatched. And being able to lean into some of those relationships earlier this week when I was trying to find a solution of, I'm not on Instagram. And so one of my good friends and mentors was able to text a CEO and high level Instagram partner to be like, hey, we have a problem here. So being able to have these resources at my fingertips was super helpful. And being able to work with someone, yes, I have had to pay to have my Instagram account back. And to me, that is a value, because this is something I use to connect with communities, to expand partnerships, and share. I actually really love sharing what's happening in our life. Like, we're up to some cool things, and I'm so pumped to take you guys along for the ride. And so I was happy to pay within reason and get some answers as to what happened, who, how. It's very interesting, you guys, very interesting. But being able to really lean into community. And I've recorded episodes about this, how important community is to us as humans. And an example like this is really, really speaking to that, of friends that I could just sort of send a voice note and be like, I'm so sorry, I'm really low vibe, I'm going through this. And they can share some insights. And it felt really supported in a challenging season and challenging time. So again, I know I'm saying the word community so much, but just really focusing on community. And if you don't have community, maybe make that a goal for this year to step into it and go to events or connect with someone on Instagram. Maybe get their email or their cell number just in case you're booted off. You could do some damage control and being able to maintain that relationship. But really being able to focus on building those strong connections and deepening those relationships, not only as friendships, but also as relationships within your network. So we've talked about owning your platforms. Number 2, community, the importance of that. Number 3, your mindset. And again, I know that it was so cute how I was very low vibe, and I am a mindset coach. I have a mindset coach, but being able to recognize that setbacks like this, they are just temporary. Look at me. Here I am 7 days later. I'm back, and I'm so excited to be back. But that these setbacks, these challenges are a season. I just read a book that I finished it this morning. I read it in 3 days. It's a new Brianna Weiss book, and I'll actually link it in the show notes and probably post it on my Instagram stories with a link. And it's going to be in a blog post. It's going to be on an email newsletter, because I'm really passionate now about being very aware of how I show up and share content across all of my platforms. But just recognizing that challenges and setbacks like this so often lead to growth. And lastly, just that you want to be practical with how you show up with your accounts. And, maybe it's like that 2-factor authentication. Maybe you pay for that blue check mark, that verification, or just being very aware of what you're posting on your platforms. Maybe you use an additional editing app like a CapCut, so you have your versions of your reels, or you save them in an album. Those are things that have been going through my mind. And I feel like though this is my last sort of shareable lesson, it's actually the most vague. So I apologize, but I was just so excited to hop back on Instagram with an Instagram live. And I'm getting so fired up about sharing things that I am going through on my podcast, because the Inspire Move podcast is in entrepreneurship. So I should be sharing in real time things that I am going through and how I'm navigating them. So this is something I went through. I wasn't able to take you along for the ride behind the scenes on Instagram, but I was able to show up for myself and for all of you listening and watching on my podcast, because I just wanted to share what was going on. And these are some lessons that I have learned. Perhaps there will be more that come to me that I can share another time. But for now, I'll just tie a little bow on this, because I have to get to benchmark for a workout. And I feel like I'm going to be so strong today, because I'm going to be so fired up. I took the dogs for a walk. I've already listened to 2 podcasts. And I'm just going to sit in this joy, this win from the week, this gratitude that I was able to have the contacts, and I'm going to say the financial means to pay someone to help me, and the tools and support. So that is a super big win for me for the week. I'm going to sit in that. Matt and I love sitting down Friday night with either a Negroni or a glass of wine and talking about wins for the week. And this is great, because the last 2 weeks have been a bit challenging, where the wins were probably feeling a little bit bleak. So this is great. And I want to show up with really amazing energy at the gym today for my workout. I have a full afternoon in the studio with some amazing guests for the podcast. And I have a birthday lunch to celebrate one of my dear friends who has been a massive support system in this last week. So again, just tying a bow on it, the lessons that I learned is being able to own your platforms, email lists, website, apps like the Benchmark Fitness app. Love that. As well as a podcast, and really nurturing that email list that you have, building it, collaborating with other peers in your space. That's a really fun hack. More on that another time. Number 2, diving into community and nurturing those relationships and those friendships. Number 3, your mindset totally does matter, and being able to recognize that setbacks are temporary and it is 100% going to lead to growth. And number 4, just being sure that you are safeguarding your account and thinking of things like that 2-factor authentication and just staying compliant. And I know that's kind of the most like low vibe. That's like the boring, not as high energy lesson learned, but I still think it is important. And I am so grateful for all of you here. I got texts every single day about my Instagram being missing, and that doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you to all of you on Instagram, in my Instagram community. Thank you to all of you in the Inspire and Move podcast community, and to all of you that come to my in-person events, that come to Benchmark, that are a part of our community, both in person and online. I'm so, so grateful for all of you. And I am wishing you, it's Friday when I record this, so I am wishing you all an amazing day, an amazing weekend, and we will see you again both on Instagram and the podcast and in person really, really soon. So, thank you so much, guys. So much love and gratitude for you all. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.